Updated headlines every 20 minutes. You're live at lunchtime, and a quick recap of our main stories.
She will be taking that plus this latest development on appeal. She will be approaching the court in that regard.
An appalling week for the public protector. She's planning to appeal yet another bill in her pocket after the court orders her to personally pay a percentage of legal costs related to her Vrede dairy farm report.
It's Operation Okai Molau.
7 people arrested, including one for attempted murder, in the wake of last night's widespread looting in Soweto. The ANC in KwaZulu-Natal is yet to decide on mayors for the eThekwini and the eMsunduzi municipalities. Pressure is mounting from the Women's League to replace Zandile Gumede with a female leader. And Michelle Solomon exclusively telling us how her life changed after learning that she was kidnapped as a child. A full half-hour extended interview on ENCA, 6 p.m. tonight. Former head of Free State Agriculture, Peter Tabete, is currently giving testimony at the Zondo Commission. Now, you'll remember that he was accused of assisting the Gupta family and their business associates in looting government funds, but the charges against him and his co-accused were provisionally withdrawn. Tabete says former Free State Agriculture and Rural Development MEC, Mosibenzi Zwane, is the man behind the strategy to stimulate rural development through the controversial Estina Dairy Farm project. Let's bring in reporter Michael Apple, who's covering that story for us. So Peter Tabete has been testifying, Michael, as I alluded to, but you'll tell us it's been slow going today.
It has, Jeremy, it certainly has. There's no denying that he's an incredibly critical witness to the work of the Commission in trying to get to grips with what exactly happened and just how this project got off the ground and what led to its ultimate failure. Were processes followed, procurement processes, supply chain processes followed, and that is what the evidence leader is. As she says, in leading somebody through evidence, you build a house, and it's literally platform and then brick by brick. So they're starting off with his tentative knowledge about procurement processes, the Constitution, the PFMA. So it's a very slow process in theoretically figuring out what he understood or what he understands, and then, and this is what we haven't gotten to yet, the actual practical way in which it was enforced, the supply chain processes in relation to Estina. So he was asked whether there are circumstances in which you can deviate from procurement processes. Listen, and this is what he had to say.
There are instances where the head of department has to take a decision on site. Now, I've done that on a number of occasions in terms of field fires. You require a chopper to assist with the extinguishing of the fire. You don't have a submission, you don't have to wait for a submission because the fire is not going to wait for you to approve a submission to deviate. All you do, you take your phone, you phone the owner of the chopper, you ask the person to fly the chopper and extinguish the fire. When you get to the office, you require the officials to do the submission and give it to you for approval because you have acted instantly. Those are some of the requirements that you have to do. So you will not always require somebody to develop a submission to approve before the action happens. There are those activities that you have to instruct, they happen, and you deal with the action.
I'm not entirely sure if I understand all of that, Michael. A very convoluted fire analogy. What we do know, though, is Estina certainly went up in flames. What background can you give us about Tabete himself, though? One of those previously implicated.
Yes, well, we found out today he is an agriculturalist. He, back his qualifications in that particular field date back to the late 1980s. Certainly a man with a lot of significant experience in the agricultural industry and field. And this is significant. I think the evidence leader is asking him specifically about his experience and his knowledge, because I think they're going to try and paint a picture of a man who certainly knew better And I think that's the point, the fact that this project shouldn't have failed if it had such an experienced and knowledgeable man behind it. So where we have been told by Moses Moremi, the former municipal manager, that this was all the brainchild of Mosebenzi Zwane, the then MEC, we mustn't forget that Ace Magashule, the Premier, delegated his authority to Mosebenzi Zwane, who then delegated his authority to Peter Tabete. Where exactly, how he's going to be able to justify what went on, the deviation from the fact that this never went to a tender, the figures, the money that was paid out, the lack of feasibility study that was only done several months after the project had already been allocated a budget, putting the cart way before the horse. We haven't gotten to those details yet, so we wait with bated breath for those.
We do indeed. In Parktown, at the Zondo Commission, Michael Apple, thank you.